Alright, here today we got a 2006 Honda Civic. Very well made cars, if I do say so. And customer has lost his keys to this vehicle. Now this is the new Honda high security key. When I say new Honda, I mean 2003 and on and 2007 and on for Acura. We're using this keyway. It's very tough to deal with, but it's kind of a tough car to work on. The first thing you notice is actually opening this guy up is very difficult. There's no good button to grab onto. If I remember, it's shielded cables. The only way to do it that I've had good luck is to actually wedge the door up here as opposed to in the corner of the door frame like everybody else does, and then come in with a modified tool with a real sharp angle on it, hook around at an angle, and then push that guy in. And I've had a lot of trouble just doing those versus the average car. I mean, obviously we're talking about 5 minutes max here, but normally what should take me about a minute is taking me 5 minutes for these cars. But anyway, let's move on. In the ignition you have all the wafers you need. In the door, as I recall, you're missing 2. In the trunk you're missing 1. Go for the easy lock. That's my experience on this thing. You could even go disassembling the ignition and do this all in one fell swoop, but go for the trunk lock, in my opinion. You're just missing 1 cut, and that's enough at that point. I wouldn't go progressing more than 1 cut on this vehicle. So we pulled the cylinder out. It's just 1 10mm bolt, 1 linkage, and 1 Phillips head screw that was in that slot right there. And let's take a look at our cylinder here. Okay, this is a full cylinder. It's got all the cuts, but you notice we're missing a wafer, and that's no accident. That's no factory defect or anything like this. That's just how it is. So you're going to have to progress that last cut right there. So not a big deal, obviously, but it's not a regular old key. You got to come in with a milling style cutter and make this thing, and it can be very tedious, especially if you're using depth keys. What I've done in the past is I got a collection of Honda 4-track keys, and what I'll do is I'll just put a key in that I have, a good 50% match or something like this, and then I'll copy the majority of that key, come back and finish it with the depth keys. Or what I'll do is I'll get a blank and manually cut it out or manually finish it with a rotary tool with a Dremel, the little cuts on the side here. I don't want to pull this key out because the pins are going to go flying, but on the side, it's not a standard key. In the next scene, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here, but it gets very tedious making these things. If you have something like an advanced machine, like a 3D Max Pro, something like that, it's very easy. But if you just have a manual duplicator, it can get very tedious. So this is one where you want to take the lock out, obviously, if you do not have a machine like that. If you got a 3D Pro, you can probably just use a code, something like this. I've been hearing good things about that. But for the moment here, we're going to do it old school.